Okay, to get this parking cable out, if you'll take your pliers or your vice grips and go in the first little bit of teeth right there, adjust that to where that's tight right there, and then give it a little bit of space and just tighten that there, not to where you're crushing the spring, but just where you're getting tight on it. Use the hub itself to pull against. Pull that down like this, and then you can hold that down, and then this will just slide right off. That's all there is to it. Okay, to put this back together, 2007 to 2009, 11 Camry. There's probably a lot of other vehicles too. You know, a couple of tricks to getting this stuff back together by yourself, because you find when you put it together up on the hub and everything, it's very difficult to put the little retaining springs and the nails and manage all that. So and how do you get that parking spring cable back on? A little trick for that too. So hang on. What we're going to do is we're going to put the hub on just very loosely, because we're going to use that hub as a lever for putting the parking brake cable back in. Then we'll take that back off and we'll do it in our lap rather than trying to get it up in the air and restricted space. As you'll see, that's much easier. Okay, we have that well cleaned. That is antisieze that you see in there. We really took a wire brush to this real good, and also to the parking brake plate. And clean that opening really good. And the bolts are higher at the top, or further apart at the top than the bottom, so this only goes in one way. So we'll place that in there. Get a bolt. This is off camera. Okay, and we'll put that back in place, and this will help us put our parking cable back on. So you just mount that up there, shake it as you do, get it started, and then tighten that up. Okay, so this shoe goes over here, and this cable goes in there, so that's going to come up in here like this. So we'll keep that orientation, that this has got to go in here like this. So we'll hold this out here like that, remembering that that's got to go on like that. So, and basically it seats down in the little cup. That fitting seats down in that little cup. That then stops back on the back, so it goes on like this. When we go back on, we'll be oriented like that to go, ready to go. Then we'll take our vice grip that we got set up on the spring, just in those first teeth, to bite it. And again, I'm not going to crush it, but just grab it good. It'll come down a little bit, as you see, but not much. All right, got a hold. Then we'll put this already fitted for that on the very end there. And what we'll do is we'll use this. All right, now we have our orientation. We know that that goes up in there like that. We can bring this up against here, and we can just pull and get all that cord so that we can just slip this right up on there. And that's all there is to it. When you let go of your vice grips, that's going to pop right into place. Super easy way to do it by yourself if you're not a shaky old man. Quick and easy so you don't fight that thing. And then we're going to take this off and set it in our lap, because when you try to put these strings and pins, you're holding that pin and putting the spring and all that in this limited space with the brake shoe in there. This just wants to keep falling off, and tape and things help a little bit, but we're going to try to do something a little easier than that even. Alright, now we'll just take this back off. We just had the two top nuts just hanging by. Use it as a kind of like a vice, if you will. Put that cable in. Having wrestled that a lot of times, figured out it would be an easier way. The same with this. And like I said earlier, you're putting the retaining springs on those shoes. That pin wants to fall, and it's a little just the wrong angle, so even the bottom retaining bracket wants to fall out on you while you're doing it. So if you do it where it's not vertical and get it horizontal or close to horizontal, much easier. And get this hub out of the way. We just look at the space. So much easier. It seems like an extra step putting this thing on, but now we can get to that. All right, so we've got this off in our lap now, and all you really got to know is always get oriented. Is this notch goes in there, right there, up against that post. So we'll see. We've got our nail hole. Now this one, the one with the arm, you use the nail that has the offset, and then that nail comes in there. And it goes out like that. And then this comes here, and it goes around that. And it fits in this slot right here. We'll switch fingers with the nail holder. So it goes in this slot right here. And then the base has got a tab on it that goes in that slot right there. So this base goes in there, in that slot, in that tab like that right there. And when we get this around, we'll see if we get that up more. And this stuff is just next to impossible when you're trying to do it vertical. And these have, so the nail is oriented that way, so we need that slot oriented that way to put that on. And these are typically just soft enough where you can just do by hand. Get that down over the nail, twist that like that, and that it's just unbelievable how much easier that is sitting down than it is trying to do it, in the car. Then the next piece. All right, we take our other brake shoe, and we always can stay oriented in that little tab. Will go up here, and easier if we hook this little spring on that tab right there. Do that right now. That's a whole bunch easier. And it kind of stabilizes things for us a little bit too. And we got to put our nail. Last time you noticed we did this one step at a time. Another way to do this pretty handy is to go ahead and preset that up. Get your nail hole in. A little off here, so there you go. Hold it straight up, then I'll have more time to work with. There we go. There it is. Now your next step is to put on your adjuster, and you want to make sure there's plenty of grease in that thing. If not, you just take it apart and grease it up, but we got a lot of grease here. Put it all the way down, and it pretty much you'll put this thing in where when you turn it down, it loosens. So fold that and it goes down. That's tightening. So we flip it the other way, and we go down. Gotta get down some. So you can see we go down, it draws in. I don't know, I like mine to go down to get contract and up to tighten. That's what that side is. And so the next thing is to put this in down on the bottom. And it goes in that little slot there and that little slot there on this. So we have to spread these apart to get that in there. Alright, so we got it down on one side, and that side, pull it out, that, put it in there, and then we'll take this, grab it, and we'll pull that around down there, so we got it in there. So now we got our adjuster in place here. So the next step is the spring goes on the top, and that just goes in here, and you spin it around so that they can get on there. And then you do the same on this side. All right, now we need to put this little spreader on, and it only go on one end, didn't fit on the other. It goes on one end, and you'll see that you have a wider opening and a narrower opening, and the spring will go in the wider opening down here. So the spring in there, and then that goes on like that right there, and then you're done. Oh, I still got to get this little clip on here, this little spring over here. So now we go put the whole hub and parking brake. Already built the parking brake easily in her lap, didn't fight anything. And you always know that this goes up top, so the two top bolts are further apart than the two bottom. Match that up on your hub. And now we match the top bolts and the bottom bolts up, so we know where the top is wider than the bottom, so we know that that goes in here like this. Grab some of the bolts. And go ahead and put one in. Like to start with that top right one. It's the easiest one to get. This is a little harder doing this right here, but not really substantially, as you can see. A little binder, but then once we get the one started, the other four go real easily. And you just tighten these four up, torque that to 59 foot-pounds.